You ever get the feeling that you're talking to yourself, you're creating all of this content, and you're not quite getting the traction that you want? I believe I know the answer for most creators, and I understand this because I was in that same position. So today, I'm going to tell you some of the things that I think might be stopping you from finding that exact person that listens to your content and resonates to your content. Now, this is going to be a little challenging because one of the first things that will help you find that definitive person is defining who your target audience is. It is exactly 115.12% crucial that you understand who you're talking to. One of the biggest disconnects for content creators is believing that their audience is everybody. Now, this is a well-said statement, but if your audience is everybody, your audience is nobody. This is one of the reasons why Apple can be so successful. If you watch YouTube or Twitter or Wall Street Journal for that matter, people are constantly saying what Apple should do. Apple doesn't necessarily do what people think they should do. Why? Because they have a clear idea of who their audience is and who they're talking to and what product needs to touch what aspect of an individual's life. Quickly adding the phone to do not disturb. You should do this before you record. So they're not trying to please everyone. Trying to please everyone is super hard for content creators. Now, I'm going to give you these and I'm going to go out of order on purpose because the first one might be the hardest and they don't necessarily have to be in order. But one of the key elements is that you understand your own goals and interests. You need to realize what is your expertise. I want you to grab a pen, and when this video is over, because I want you to watch to the end, that's my job to say that, I want you to write down what are the 20 things that you know that you could actually get paid to divulge, right? So as a longtime radio DJ, I know for a fact, because I've done it already, I can sell a class on proper interview techniques. I know that I could sell a paid class on proper EQ and limiting, normalization, things when it has to do with audio processing for content. I can sell a class on editing a podcast or creating a podcast. So I want you to write these things down. Then as you're writing this down, I want you to reflect on a couple things. Why did you start to create content anyway? And who do you believe is going to genuinely enjoy the content that you're creating? And who do you generally enjoy helping or connecting with? This is first. You really need to understand what your goals are, what your interests are. Then it's important that you sort of identify what your demographics are going to be. We're looking at the age range, the gender, the location, income level, education level, occupation, so forth, so on, etc. I know that I'm for Gen X plus creators who have many of the same or similar life experiences, but who feel they have something to share and they need to get it off their chest. That's it. And maybe their only hindrance is the tech side or understanding the tech side. Maybe the other hindrance is they've been told the wrong thing or they just have some limiting beliefs that my job is to come here, put foot all the way up the backside and help get rid of. So I'm clear. I'm super clear on what my audience is. Now, then I would say we want to get down and sort of pinpoint what the psychographics are. Now, this is a little different. This is trying to figure out what are their interests, what are their hobbies, what are their pain points and challenges, what are their values, what are their aspirations, what is their spending habits or buying behavior, what basically makes your audience members tick. I'm lucky that I've built this. I will say lucky. I hate that word. I have curated a pretty awesome community and I get to deal with folks on a regular basis. So I have a great idea of what the psychographics look like because I am in a very friend relationship with a large member of the community. They're pretty much family. That's why we call it the LGL family. So if you don't have this yet, here's how you get there. Tools, like surveys, social media posts, gather information directly, do open classes, talk with your community, find a way to have one-on-one conversation with people. The Go group, we get down every Saturday. We have fantastic conversations. I know that whatever Paula, Luis, or Gretchen, Yolanda, Alicia, Janice, whatever you guys are sort of stuck on, a whole bunch of other people in the group are stuck on. So I can use them kind of as a litmus test, if you will. Now, this one's a little difficult because you, in theory, would go and analyze what your current audience is. I think the problem for a lot of you is you're not sure who your audience is yet. You haven't figured this out. So this is where analytics kind of help. You can look at YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever, and see what your analytics are and sort of go from there. The gold mine is the comments. And when someone shares one of your videos, oh, you need to go scope that person out. You resonated with them so much that they felt like sharing with somebody. When I see who constantly comments on my videos, I'm studying that person, right? Paul C., How to Repair, member of the LGO family, Gold Club member, he constantly says he watches all of the other family members' contents because he wants to study like how people think, especially people that are in our sort of, I wouldn't call it a hobby, our function. The thing that we love to do is create content. So he studies that because he's a content creator. And he's like, if I can act like, the people that I cruise with, and, they say you're very much like the 5 people that you cruise with, you sort of emulate them. Now, in reality, we always thought that with the people that we deal with on a regular basis, like we hang out with our family members, our friends that we go to the pub with, sort of, et cetera. But it also could be your online people too. So you start to mirror what they're like. Now, this one is important. I personally don't spend a lot of time on this because I'm overconfident. Let's be honest. I'm always saying the truth. I'm overconfident, okay? You, in theory, should research your competitors, study other creators in similar needs, see who's followed them, what type of content performed well for them, and then try to find content gaps. What gaps can you fill in? I don't spend a lot of time paying attention to quote unquote competitors because I'm cocky and I don't feel like anybody's my competitor. I believe in co-opetition. I will create content with them. I will create collaborations with them. I try not to get too caught in the competitor thing, but that's my teachings from Steve Jobs. We don't really care about the competition. We always worried about the clients. In this case, I was worried about the viewers. So I care less about what my competition is doing. But if your competition is great at tutorials, say, but they lack mindset and coaching, then you back your tutorials with mindset and coaching. You know what I'm saying? Take that. All right. Now, once you're done all of this, you want to go and create an audience persona. You want to build a profile to see sort of what that person looks like, right? You want to give them a name, an age, a profession, an interest. Imagine what their daily routine is, what their daily challenges are, what their goals are. Okay, so if I were to build a persona, which is funny because the person that you should absolutely talk to about customer personas is Michelle from LBC Branding. She's a member of the family. She has spent a lot of time building this out. But Michelle is the perfect persona for my sort of content. Number one, she was one of the first members to go through what we called the first gold group cohort, and she's off to do her own thing now, right? So Michelle, age, cute, let's just say plus 50. She is a professional, works in the healthcare industry, but her business is about marketing and branding. What she's trying to do on YouTube is about marketing and branding. Her challenge is how to balance this full-time career with also being this full-time content creator, with being a mom and a wife, and basically learning how to overcome the challenges of the stuff that we learned as island natives, right? As you know, she's from, well, culture is Trin. My culture is floaty as well. Got Hawaii, got a little Puerto Rico, raised by Koreans, also floating. Lives a lot of time in Japan. Island folks have a very different culture, right? So there's things that we have to learn to overcome. And her goal was to help as many people as possible with brand deals and marketing and get their stories out there. And so knowing what that persona is, I can generate content specifically talking to Michelle, right? And sometimes I make content specifically for people that are in the family, but I may or may not mention their name. But I'm talking directly to them because I know there's other people that were in her same boat, because we spent a lot of time together over the last 3 or 4 years, right? Now, once you have all this down, you're going to sort of test and refine. A lot of people are taking advice, say you actually accept it and you run with it, and then you panic when it doesn't happen on the first go. If you hit bullseye on the first arrow, you got the other 99 arrows back there. You're going to keep shooting them. Like, people, you really have to test this stuff out. You have to experiment. You got to try different things. You got to try different subgroups in your own community. You got to pay attention to what resonates with people. You got to get feedback. You got to respond to feedback. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. And the easiest one of all, ask your people directly. I always say to you, if you have something you want me to talk about, write that down in the comment section below. I say it on every single video. I go, if you are facing any challenge, holla at your boy. Roy, I got a great comment from him the other day. There's something that he wants to talk about. I think in his particular case, I have to give him a one-on-one answer as opposed to a blanket answer. But after we talk about it, if he feels comfortable with it, then I'll make a video sharing it to the whole plant. You really, really have to spend some time asking your audience. And if your audience doesn't exist yet, it's because you don't have enough content to create an audience. And again, community is better than audience. Audience is one directional. Community is bi-directional. My brain says audience here and there, but when I say it, I want you to know I really mean community. I was just like you, trained on the word audience. I am untraining myself from that word because that word is not helpful to me. I am trying to unsubscribe. No, take that back. Fix my language. I am unsubscribing to the word audience. I am subscribing to the word community. I see the community members. So once you're building trust and you know that you have aligned values and aligned needs, you're able to solve those needs. And you have to keep checking your avatar and tweaking it as trends evolves, platform shifts, changes in, maybe TT will be missing pretty soon. You need to adjust your conversations and resonate. And as you grow, they will grow with you. So sometimes the conversation will change a little bit. But by understanding and dividing your community, you'll create content that tailor fits them. And you'll foster a stronger relationship, and you'll build better engagement. This is not an overnight thing, people. It's not overnight. Is it going to take you 2006 and now? I am 19 years into this. It won't take you that long because I wasted a whole bunch of them years. But it ain't going to happen in 1 year. It just isn't. All of the people that had rapid rise, rose, burnt out, they're gone. There's so many people that had rapid rise over the pandemic. I don't want to call out any names in particular because it might be painful for them, but I can think of at least 3-4 creators who had rapid rise during the pandemic, and then they just straight disappeared because they weren't able to sustain. They were living off the ride of everybody being stuck at home and having no place to go. You do not want rapid, fast, shallow growth. Remember the 3 little pigs and the huff and the puff and the blowing the house down. Family, we want bricks. We want straight bricks. We do not want straw. We do not want hay. Am I messing this story up? Anyway, we don't want any weak materials. So some of you guys are in a boat where you've put in your 100 videos and you're still not there. Because now that you have the practice of how to get out, create, and generate content, now you got to start building, right? I'll give you one last example. Somebody in the group knows this because I'm sure we have some cooks or line cooks or professional chefs up in here. But in restaurants, when you first get out of school, you spend like the first year chopping onions and observing, chopping garnish and observing, peeling mushrooms and observing. You don't get to cook anything. You basically stay in the back and you absorb. This is your time to shine. This is where you build the foundation, because if your channel gets, I say this all the time, if Oprah was to send 1 million people to your channel tomorrow, you'll have a really decent ad rev month. By month 3, it's gone. It's completely gone. I know this for a fact because I had a video that went viral, and I swear to you, I would never curse virality on any single one of you. You think you want it, but you don't. That sweet ad rev lasted about 3 months and then it tanked because there was nothing to backfill. There was no content to continue. You tried to do all you could eat shrimps. You ain't had but 100 shrimps. I really need that to resonate home with you. Like, I don't want this video to be too long, but I really need that to resonate home with you. So again, it's absolutely vital that you build your target audience. Now, I saved the first one for last because in a way this is kind of first, but people are kind of iffy about this. It drives them crazy and it freaks them out. But you got to kind of know what your niche is, because it's hard to build an audience around random topics. You ain't that cute. Personality channels are extremely hard to do. And I'm not saying don't do them. If you think you got that game, knock yourself out, pimp. I ain't doing it. Like, personality channels are really hard to do. It's really important that you have a niche. I know that's hard for people. I know you're trying to figure it out. I know a lot of y'all are switched. Maybe you're past 100 videos, but you switch niche in the middle. If you're past 100 videos and you switch niche in the middle, you got to start all over again. You're back to zero. Every time you change your niche, you're back to zero, right? So it's important that you do that. What problem does your content solve? What unique perspective or USP, unique selling proposition, or unique service proposition are you bringing? What value do you bring to them? And then, what are your goals? Are you trying to be educational, inspiring, entertaining? Like, what is it? You have to know these things, because without knowing that I'm trying to create an alternative fuel 4-seater car, I cannot create a Tesla or whatever other vehicle, God knows, Tesla, right? You have to understand. You have to understand what that is. So if you're still not sure about your niche, you will absolutely struggle at defining what your target audience is, because you're literally hunting and pecking. So if I had to give them the order, first thing you do is define my niche. Know what your content you're solving, know your value prop, know your unique selling position, know what your goals, how you're going to do it, educational, entertaining, inspiring, etc. Then I'm going to understand my goals. I'm going to reflect on what is my expertise. I'm going to know why. I'm going to know my why. I'm going to come to grips real quick with what my why is. And then I'm going to who do I genuinely enjoy connecting with? Who do I genuinely enjoy helping? Right? That's you guys right now. I'm going to identify my demographics, my age, my gender. For me, it could do male or female. In this particular case, I'm non-binary. My location doesn't matter, but mostly US people. My income level is, normally 50,000 plus. It's what it is. I'm not going to go out there and tell you to buy a $5 camera. It never is. Y'all be asking about my gear. Y'all saying it's expensive, but I know y'all got it. Y'all just don't know if you want to spend that. That's the different story. I know my education level. I understand your occupations, right? I know what my psychographics are. I understand your interests, your hobby, your pain points, your challenges, your values, your aspiration. I know what your spending habits are. I know y'all be lying about what kind of gear you really can buy. I have talked to my audience ad nauseum. I've spent time with y'all face to face at many different positions, and I always take feedback from the community. My teaching style completely changed over the last 6 months. Compliments of Alicia and Yolanda with a foot in my backside, and I listened. And well, Mary Lou as well. Right? I don't spend a lot of time on competitors. That depends on how you like to do your stuff. I'm the cocky dude that don't feel I need to. Plus, I feel like if I'm paying attention to what they're doing, I'm not paying attention to me. To me, that's a slippery slope, but that might work for you, right? I understand what my audience persona is. It looks very much like you. You're here, right? Then I am forever tweaking. I'm forever testing. I'm forever refining. And I always ask you directly, what do you want? What do you want next from me? I'm going to give it to you, right? And I just keep revising. That's basically it in a nutshell. I know this got longer than I wanted it to be, but one of the most common questions about content creation is how long should a video be? As long as it needs to be and not a second more. That's the answer, dang it. So if you are feeling a little verklempt and you feel like you have been doing this and you're not getting the traction you want, you're going to have to come back and get a quick understanding of who exactly you are talking to. Who are you trying to serve? And make sure that you're not serving yourself, because if you're serving yourself, you're in trouble. Your ego is the enemy. Just remember that. Your ego is the enemy. Now I'm on a mission to get this channel up to 20,000 so I can help out more people. So if you like this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you know when another video is coming through. Right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video they think you should watch, and I absolutely agree with them.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet.